Honorable, just a moment. You know, all of this, a lot of people will say it comes with the terrain of any type of probe, especially when powerful people are involved. But what a lot of Nigerians would want to see is results for time spent and for money spent, you know, when this probe eventually takes off. Do you think that as it stands currently, we have very clear reasons, or the probe panel has stated very clearly the reasons why it's going into this probe, what it seeks to achieve?
I think they seek to achieve a lot. Like I said, when you have information, if you are not educated, then you are probably dead. So if you have information as to what is going on, if I didn't go into this, I would not have known what is going on in the power sector. So as an individual, as Nigerians, as a people, you should know what is going on. However, people always think that when the probe is going on, it affects activities. That is not correct. Even when we were doing the probe, most contractors who are taking the money and ran away, when they heard the way we were going, they tried to approach us. We refused. You can remember that time, Patrick Obahiabo even made a pronouncement that they were trying to bribe us. And when they saw they couldn't penetrate, they had to rush back to site. So what I'm saying is, let them look at what has happened. Inform Nigerians, inform the government, advise the government on the best way to do. It can also help to also look at what the president has done. He said, look, I want single-digit accounts. And I'm sure now, even if they didn't make noise about it, people may have given them suggestions why funds that are accumulated are not being seen, because some people are rechanneling it. I know of agencies, they come by way of appropriation to seek for money from federal government, and at the same time they generate, and they have two budgets. One is for IGR, one is for government sponsored. Then at the end of the day, they don't have anything to take back to consolidated account. So that is what is government. Yeah.
Some people will also say that you're also asking that this also covers the privatization process.
Yes.
You're asking for that specifically.
No, is the powers they're all in the power sector.
What duration then can we looking at all that you're asking this committee to do, or all that you think that it might find, and how complex things might be? How long do you think it would take them to sit?
I don't expect that within 1 month they shouldn't finish, because except they also don't want to go on the spot. I thought the whole 775 local government or thereabout. I went to the 36 states, including FCT. I went to all the spots, which took us 2 months. 2 months. It would be more than enough for them if they actually want to do a thorough job.
So you're thinking that they can do 16 years and also the privatization process within 2 months?
Yes. Let me tell you why the privatization is important. By the time you leave the veil, you will know those who actually acquire those assets. And when you find out, and if they have compromised their position as other governors or ministers or whatever, you better know, your mind will tell you what will happen if that has happened.
Could you tell us then, Honorable, what would you advise them to do such that their report perhaps will go a step further than yours to demand action?
Not them. What they can do is to do their report. The person that I look out to see what he will do is the President of Senate. Once the President of Senate is not compromised, once he puts his foot down and says, whatever you bring out, that we will consider, without going behind to talk to members to compromise themselves and begin to dilute the report, that will go a long way to speak for this type of Senate in the 8th Assembly.
Well, speaking about which, I mean, you talked about several allegations that made the rounds at that time, how they tried to influence your committee. Can you speak to some of those issues that, I mean, I see people asking, they just want clarification. Was your report in any way doctored? Were you lobbied to water down the content of your report? Is there any mention about Kuje prison or some of your members or you visiting there? What exactly happened in those respects?
First of all, like I said, yes, we were approached no doubt about that. Even you who is a reporter, when you are over-reporting on issues, people do call and say, why are you killing us? Why are you doing this to us? That happened. Two, they also ganged up in order to rubbish. You know, Nigerians, first of all, you are condemned in the court of Nigerians, public court. In order to say, oh, this man we thought was a saint. Oh, this man that we thought was good. So he can even do this kind of thing. Imagine where somebody tells you, first of all, in my report, I made a recommendation on rural electrification, REA. And I know what I said in the REA. First of all, I said they were duplicating projects. Secondly, I said some officers there should be removed there and be redeployed. Now, somebody turns around and says, oh, I conspired and stole and awarded contracts in REA with the officers of REA. First of all, I'm a lawmaker. Secondly, I don't work in REA. I'm not a board member. I'm not in the executive section. Let us even say at the worst scenario that I went to beg them, please, do I have an uncle who is looking for contract? Should they not follow due process? That is, if that ever happened. It never happened. At the point that the proceedings were taking place, we found out that even members wrote recommendation to REA asking them to give companies of their uncles contract. I never did that. That I can pride myself in the House of Representatives. I made sure that I never got myself involved in those kind of things. But those were the allegations. Why? Because of the power probe. Because people, I know somebody who offered me something, I refused. Okay, you are refusing. Don't worry. You will now be on the other side and you beg us to come and bail you out.
What side is that?
Hmm?
What side was that? Was that the prison part that they're talking about?
Yes.
So what happened? Were you there?
Was I what?
Somebody's asking to know if they talked about the fact that you were at some point in Kuje prison or something. Any truth to that?
What happened was that at the point that the power probe was going on, even up to today, they have not been able to get who wrote this thing, but I believe also somebody, a fictitious person, but because when we were caught, nobody could come to substantiate that. Somebody alleged that, oh, that I awarded, no, first of all, they said I stole 5.3 billion naira. Later, they said, oh, I joined in the award of that contract. And of course, I was in UK and EFCC called me that I should see them. When I went, it was not what the officers were saying was that I stepped on toes and that it was beyond them to tell me why I'm there. And I now requested that I needed to see the then chairman of EFCC. I called her. Somebody picked and said she was in a meeting. She would talk to me later. So I went. And after about 2-3 days, we were now told that we were going to court. We got to court. All I found was that we were being charged for stealing 3 billion, sorry. And they wanted to do accelerated hearing without proof of evidence. And I challenged them in court. You must tell me what I've done before you can say you want to do accelerated hearing. And of course, I won the case and further challenged them. And eventually, I was acquitted of those charges because what they were talking, they were contractors. In fact, Femi Falana is alive. Asked him when we were doing the procedure. I found out that one of the contractors even had Femi as his lawyer, who was challenging them for seizing their money, and they won the case and they were paid. So Femi Falana is alive. He can tell you about those contractors. So there was actual contract, and they executed it. It was a solar issue, and they executed all of them and paid and handed over to communities. And you here on the other side, because you just wanted to kill a report, you allege, oh, the chairman and some people, and they were strictly my members of my committee that were being attacked.